Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Fresh Off the Set. I'm Elora Murray, and I am so very glad that you are listening today. Today's episode honors the life of a young, she was so talented athlete that her life ended far too soon. Celene Beth Olsen is here to tell us all about the Lauren's Lap Foundation and how it aims to raise awareness about domestic violence and stalking. Celene, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
This is honestly, it's a very jarring topic. It's a very heavy topic, but it is something that is so crucial and it is so important because of Lauren McCluskey.
Yes.
Let's start off by talking about her. Talk to us about, who she is, what happened, because I think we hear that name and we remember this story about her, but it is a story that needs to be told over and over again so it doesn't happen again. So can you explain her story and, refresh everyone's memory of this really jarring, horrifying story?
Absolutely. So Lauren McCluskey was from Washington State, and so she came to the University of Utah in the fall of 2015, and she lived on campus with one of her dear friends, Alex. And she went to the university because she got a scholarship for track, and her athletic excellence radiates even today. So that was really important for her. She was on track to graduate in the spring of 2019, but where this story begins would be September 2018.
Okay.
So at this point, Lauren was very much reserved and really liked hanging out with friends. She wasn't too much into the dating scene. But one evening she decided to go to a bar with her friend Alex, and there was a bouncer there who took an interest in her, asked her for her phone number. And so she gave him the number and was very ecstatic the next morning when she got a text message from him, and they actually ended up going on a date that afternoon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So over that next couple of weeks, she was really smitten. And, her parents were even like, oh man, is she falling in love? She really was, like I said, fresh to the dating scene. So she really liked all the attention she was getting, and things started to shift a bit after those couple of weeks. At that point, they were exclusive, boyfriend, girlfriend. And from there, he essentially started living in her dorm room, if you will, and was becoming very dependent on her, and really was in this like love bombing but possessive, controlling type of behavior, which her friends were kind of already saying, hey, there's some red flags popping up for us. Lauren's demeanor very much started to change at that point as well. She wasn't necessarily, as fun and chipper talking about the relationship. She was constantly answering his phone calls, text messages, was very, on high alert anytime he was contacting her. This started to then escalate because he mentioned that he was going to give her a gun, which ultimately was a big red flag, especially for someone who's living on campus. And she gave this information over to her resident assistant, and Diamond, she actually then went to the student housing and said, hey, there's this situation going on. But Diamond felt like she was just kind of being pushed to a side. And so from there, Lauren then discovers this individual's driver's license and realizes his name is not the name that she knows him by. She also recognizes that he is not just 4 years older than her, but 10 years plus over her age. So, of course, she gets online and Googles him and comes to find out that he is a registered sex offender, that he already had violent crimes in his past. He also was committing crimes against minors on the internet as well. So after that, Lauren calls her mother, Jill, and says, hey, this is what I found out. How do I break up with somebody? And, so Jill kind of walks her through that process, and Lauren contacts him and says, hey, we're done. He ends up going to her dorm room that night and looking through her window. She had to put up a blanket to make sure that, she wasn't being watched, but he got his way into the dorm room and ended up staying the next day, took her vehicle. And so she then calls her mom again and says, hey, I let him have my vehicle. I just kind of wanted him to get away. And so Jill is proactive, calls the campus police and says, hey, can somebody go and help my daughter retrieve her vehicle from this individual that she just broke up with? So the campus police did so. And so from there, things began to escalate even more. Lauren began to get text messages from phone numbers she didn't know, and people claiming that they were this individual's friends. Then it goes as far as to saying that individual died in a car accident. And so she's looking online and she, assumed that, okay, if somebody's going to die in a vehicle, that's probably going to be a news report. Couldn't find anything. So she realized, okay, this is probably phony as well. At that point, she, messages back and says, hey, I'm pretty sure this is you. Please stop texting me, blocks all these numbers. Then it escalates again. And he then starts trying to extort her with money. And she goes to the campus police, tells them exactly, what's going on. And they essentially said, oh, well, this sounds like a scam. So, just don't respond to him anymore. Again, somebody probably got his phone number and whatnot. So after that, it was Monday, October 22nd. She receives another text message saying that this was the campus police and to meet on campus. And she just already got a feeling in her stomach and was like, no, I don't think this is an actual police officer. It wasn't a name that she recognized. Again, goes to the campus police, lets them know, told her to ignore it, but then come to find out he was already canvassing the campus and was already waiting for her all day around her dorm room, her classrooms, and about 8 p.m., she's walking back to her dorm room. She's on the phone with Jill, and Jill hears a scuffle, and her mind immediately went to, Lauren was abducted, but ultimately heard the gunshots, and Lauren would be found in the back of his vehicle, deceased. And essentially, that was kind of the start to the McCluskey's nightmare, and really is such a hard thing to still talk about today.
Yeah. And honestly, thank you for sharing that. It is not something that you want to talk about. It is not something, it's not a story you want to relive. It is not a story that people want to hear.
Yes.
But it is a story, however horrifying it is, because I feel like horrifying isn't even a word that describes what happened to Lauren. It doesn't accurately depict what she went through and what her mom went through, hearing what she heard on the phone. But the story is important to tell because to bring awareness to domestic violence and stalking. So after Lauren's death, again, thank you so much for sharing that. After Lauren's death, her parents decided to create a foundation in her honor, in her memory. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Jill and Matt McCluskey, their mission is to create safer campuses across the United States. And by doing the foundation, that was a way for them to not only offer proper resources, but research as well, since 1 in 3 women typically experience some type of sexual violence or, intimate partner violence. And so it's really important for them to continue this, to spread awareness about Lauren's story, but also honor her memory. They created something called Lauren's Promise, which is a promise that I will believe and listen to you if someone is threatening you. And this is a pledge that they have created, and over 400 campuses across the United States have taken this pledge, and it is our mission to continue that and to raise more awareness about it. But this foundation is really doing things that I think are proactive in our society and ensuring that we mitigate, situations like this, but it all starts at the root of the problem, and that's talking about domestic violence and understanding that this is an epidemic.
Absolutely. 1 in 3, that statistic is outrageous. It is angering, it is horrifying. Why is it so important to continue shining a light on these issues, especially in today's world?
we see this constantly in our media, and it's, this is a story that happened in our backyard, but it is a reminder that this can happen to anybody. Domestic violence does not, delegate when it comes to socioeconomic status, location. It can happen to anybody. And so it's really, really important to highlight these things, especially also thinking about freshmen coming into college campuses. I myself am a sexual assault and domestic violence survivor, also a product of, that happening on the university campus. So for me, also, it is important that I stress this to anybody listening who is a survivor or maybe going through this. There are resources available, and there are people you can turn to that will believe you and help you.
And Celene, I want to thank you for taking those horrific things that happened to you and taking those to spread awareness and to help others. That is truly a mark of bravery and of courage and of a really good heart that you were able to do that, to help people so it doesn't happen to them.
Yes.
And so we thank you so much for not only coming in, but all the work that you are doing. I don't say that lightly. Thank you, because there are so many women out there who are thanking you as well. The foundation hosts an annual event called Lauren's Lap.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Yes.
Why it was created. I mean, we know she was a runner. We know she was a wonderful athlete. Talk to us about this.
Yes. Lauren's Lap is such a great mission. Again, this is a way for us to remind people about campus safety. And Lauren's Lap this year is a really special one because we are offering 3 types of races. We've got a 1K, a 5K, and a 10K. And anybody in our communities can join this. We also are going to have local resources and booths and food vendors, celebrity speakers, and it really is going to be an event where the community can come together, again, support the foundation, but also show that love and support to Jill and Matt, who worked tirelessly year after year to make this event happen. And so we would love to see as many local Utahns there and showing their love and support.
I love that. And I mean, it's such a great way to honor her memory. Like we said, the athlete that she was and how great she was, and to have an event that can bring that to light and honor her memory while shedding light on a very hard topic.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm a runner myself.
Yes.
So this will be a great event for me to go to. So you talked to us a little bit about what, participants can expect. Yeah. And it's okay, like if you're a competitive runner, if you're a first-time runner, you've got that 1K.
Yeah.
You can even walk a 1K.
Exactly. Right. The 1K is driven towards, families with kiddos. If you've got a stroller, I've got a stroller.
Uh-huh. So I've got a stroller. Well, I mean, my baby doesn't like sitting in the stroller, so I have a baby carrier.
Exactly. However you can make that happen. So, so 1K will be kind of driven towards the families. Uh-huh. The 5K, 10K, you don't have to be a professional runner. You can just, if you need to walk it, you need to walk it. But you get to explore the whole campus as well, which is really unique this time around, because before we've held that on the McCarthy field. And so, we want to make sure this time that the community gets access to the full university, but you can also join and create teams as well. So if you want to make a competition, with your friends or with your coworkers, by all means, do so.
I love it. All right. Talk to us about the local support organizations involved in this event. So how do they contribute to helping victims of domestic violence and stalking? How does that happen?
Yes, absolutely. So we are going to have quite a variety of individuals there. One of them being the Utah Coalition Against Sexual Assault, but also the Utah Domestic Violence Coalition. We also will have the Rape Recovery Center based out here in Salt Lake City. The Salt Lake Running Company will be there as well. We will have a separate booth for the foundation as well, and we do a lot of research as well, and so there will be information about that. The local university groups as well will be there, and then on top of that, the fire department will also be there. But another special guest will be the Peace House, which is a wonderful company that has come together as a nonprofit that assists domestic violence survivors in the Wasatch and Summit County area.
All right, lots of people there doing a lot of good is basically what I'm getting from what you're saying. So I mean, you have shared so much, but what does it mean to you personally and to the foundation to see the community come together for such an important cause?
Yeah, this year is so special because we are opening that up really to the communities. Mm-hmm. And just as you said, Lauren's name is one that, people may remember, but understanding that this is such a bigger story and initiative that we are trying to do. So for myself, being a part of the foundation and watching this race come together, it has been just a wild ride to see everyone just coming together and making sure that we do this with much success, but also making sure that people feel supported.
Absolutely.
For the foundation, like I said, it is our mission to hopefully make this a national race. Or, we have a lot of goals that we want to achieve with this. So we've got to start small and local. Washington State just did their race at the end of September in Pullman, and that was a wonderful success. So we cannot wait to see what happens on November 2nd with our race here in Salt Lake.
I cannot wait to see this race grow. Same. I have a feeling that it will become national. And for those who are not able to attend in person, maybe someone listening to this podcast and they don't live in Utah, they can't get to Utah, or someone does live here and they can't make it to the race, how can they still support Lauren's Lap and the mission of the foundation?
Absolutely. So we actually are offering a virtual race as well. So you are more than welcome to do the race on your own time, but feel free to also, make a donation. We are also a nonprofit, so any type of donation really goes to help us create these events, but also continue our research and just ensuring that we continue this mission of safe campuses.
Absolutely. Okay. And honestly, this is one of my final questions I want to ask you. What's the one message you hope participants take away from Lauren's Lap this year?
I hope that people remember her memory is always going to be my number one. This is a woman who did everything right, and the system failed her. She is someone that should be here today. I never had the honor and privilege of meeting Lauren, but every story and everything I've learned about her, she was an impactful woman, and she inspired so many people. And so I hope this event will do the same and remember that, this is very much a tragic situation and that there were resources that were not used. And so, this is a reminder that we will believe you. We will help you. Survivors are everywhere. We really are. And so I just want people to take that away, that you are not alone. And please reach out if you need any help. And we will continue to make this a safer space as long as we can.
The message that you are sharing with me today and the message that you are sharing with this foundation and her sweet parents, it is going to help so many people, because like you said, tragic doesn't even begin to cover what happened to Lauren. And so keeping her memory alive and doing these events for her are what is going to change campuses across the nation. So Celene, thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you for the bravery you have for joining a foundation like this, for opening up about your experience. Thank you so much. Where can we go for more information about the foundation, about the event?
Yes.
All of that stuff.
Thank you. Yes. Please feel free to check out the Lauren McCluskey Foundation.org. There you can sign up for the race. Like I said, you can create your own teams. And then, if you would like to make a donation, please feel free to do so. But make sure to also follow us on social media as well, as we post events and even offer self-defense classes as well. We will actually be having a free one the day before the race on November 1st. So feel free to check that out and see if you can make that as
Wonderful.
well.
I've been wanting to take self-defense classes for a very, very long time. That is great information. All right. And again, thank you so much for coming in.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone who has taken the time to listen. You know where the information is, so you can follow the foundation. You can do your part. Again, thank you. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and we will catch you on our next episode.
Congrats, you made it to the end. If you want to continue to freshen up your day, you can watch us on Fresh Living every weekday on CBS Channel 2 in Utah at 1 o'clock. You can also watch us on our YouTube channel, KUTV Fresh Living, and follow us on social media. We will see you next week.